Hi Gemini, welcome to your reading for July 2024. As you can see, these are the books from the Oracle decks I'll use for the reading today. So we're going to get straight into it. We're still in Cancer season, and by the time you see this reading, we'll have had a new moon in Cancer on Friday the 5th of July. We're starting off with a message for you from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck, first of all. So for Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising, what do you need to know for July? Right, you have one of my favorites in the deck, Knight, be brave and honest. And you have Snake, shed old skin. So we'll get tarot cards out for you as well. Okay. So what else do we need to know for Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising? You've got the Nine of Wands. Anything else? I mean, that is someone who I would say is brave, because it says soldier who's been in a battle and they're still standing. We have Seven of Cups. Yeah, okay, I was just asking myself mentally if these are what I'm meant to take. Seven of Cups, Six of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. So let's look at that Nine of Wands first of all. What do we need to know about the Nine of Wands? We've got the Queen of Swords and, okay, I think she was meant to be in reverse, yeah. You've also got the Chariot. Anything else? Nine of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Cups. Just bear with me a minute, Gemini, because it feels a bit of a mystery, like who else had a mysterious reading? Virgo. Virgo had a bit of a mysterious reading as well. Let me clarify the Seven of Cups here. I might have to do all of them, because I know with the Virgo reading, it was one of those where it just doesn't come together until you've kind of got clarification on things, on most of the cards. Three of Cups. Okay, I feel like there is something coming. Let me get a couple more cards. Okay, that makes sense with the King of Cups and the Six of Wands there. Right, I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to clarify all of them and then I'll give the story. Page of Cups. Six of Swords, the Star. Let's look at the Five of Swords. Nine of Wands for, yeah, okay. I feel like I'm having deja vu with this reading as well, Gemini. I feel like I've read this energy for you a couple of times at least. That's probably why I was reluctant at first, because I'm like, I hate having to give. Well, not hate it, but as a reader, when you give repetitive themes in readings, like say every month it's the same thing, it's like, oh God, why am I picking up the same thing all the time? But obviously in life, certain situations are, yeah, certain situations are, it's just long, isn't it? They're long and dragged out. Okay. Eight of Swords, King of Pentacles, King of Wands. I'm just going to get one for that. Nine of Swords. One more for that Nine of Swords. Okay. And then you've got the Tower and the Judgment card. I would say there's a need for self-care and self-honor, first of all, with that Knight card, being brave and honest. It looks like with that first Nine of Wands at the top right there, it's a struggle. It is a struggle. And with that Queen of Swords, sorry, I was going to say Queen of Wands, and Queen of Swords in reverse. Upright, she's someone who she shares her story, she welcomes in other truths. In reverse, sometimes she can be seen as like in the lower vibe energy, but that's not how I'm feeling it. I'm not getting low vibe energies from that Queen of Swords, as in that would be where she is brutal, basically. Like, she'll give brutal truth. She's not willing to hear anybody else's truth, or even if they tell her, she'll probably shame them for it or something. That's the brutal side. I'm not getting that energy from the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords here looks like somebody who is either resistant to sharing their story or speaking up or making letting their needs be known, probably in just possibly a specific situation. I'm not saying that's the whole person's personality, but maybe in one situation, or they, for some reason, they feel they can't share their story or share their needs or set boundaries around something. It's like a struggle that you've got the Chariot there. It's like a struggle to choose what's best for them. So there's something there that's kind of a struggle that's preventing them from choosing what's best for them. You've got that Nine of Swords up here. Yeah, I feel like it's asking. The Nine of Swords next to that Seven of Cups, which is under here, it feels like it's saying, what do you want? What do you really want? Because you might not be looking out for yourself at present, is the impression I'm getting in this reading. Is that you might not be looking out for yourself. You might be somebody who's doing a lot of giving or has been doing a lot of giving, but you're not prioritizing yourself, possibly. And as I say, I feel like I'm having deja vu because I swear I've read this energy for Gemini more than once in the past. So I don't know if it's something that it's a long ongoing situation, or what was your last reading? Was yours the I can't remember. That was a couple of weeks ago now. I'm not going to confuse it by saying that, but yeah, it's almost giving the impression of someone who's just been giving elsewhere or focusing their time and energy elsewhere again. Because as I say, I feel like I've picked this energy up for you in the past, and it's possibly breaking you down a little bit, or at the very least just making you very tired and unable to prioritize yourself. With that Shed Old Skin card, if you are someone who is known to either give too much elsewhere, or in a particular situation you just always find yourself giving and there's not much taking, and that can be anything. It can be, yes, it could be in a situation like work where you give too much and you're not getting the credit, or you're just a workaholic. It could be in a relationship where you're the giver and someone else is the taker. It could even be something like being a carer for someone, where obviously the person is vulnerable and they need that care, but you still need to look after yourself as well. You've got the Ace of Cups there. You still need to look after yourself too. So with that Nine of Swords, as I say, that looks like it's like a need for self-care, which I get with the Ace of Cups there. Something's got to change. With that Tower card and the Judgment card, something drastic needs to change for you to be able to kind of be on your path. That's what that feels like. Under here, we've got the Seven of Cups. And again, there's something about choice. Like, do you feel like you don't have any choice? What do you really want? Do you feel like you want more support and you haven't expressed that? Is it support to do something very specific and you just haven't made it known, or you don't know who to ask for help, or you feel that it's not worth, because your attention is elsewhere, you feel like it's not worth even trying to pursue or create something different that's just for you? That's what's coming to mind here. Like obligation, I would say. You've got the Six of Pentacles there, and it is generosity, but when it becomes extreme, it can be obligation. And it's like, you may be giving, but who's giving to you? Who's supporting? I mean, you could be looking after someone or supporting someone who's vulnerable, but who supports you when you're vulnerable? That is something that comes to mind there with that Six of Pentacles. Where can you go to get your support? You've got the Six of Swords there. You've got the Star there. And this, even the Star feels like support. Even the Six of Swords feels like support here, because you've got two. Are they on the same? I always wonder, are they on the same broom? I think it looks like they're on the same broom, doesn't it? So this person's kind of like tagging along at the end. But clearly, if there's someone in front, then they're the one in charge of yeah, because it's the Six of Swords. In the typical Six of Swords card, it's somebody guiding that person and assisting them and taking them somewhere safe. So who's supporting you when you're vulnerable, when you need the help? Where can you go for that? This Five of Swords energy, this is the struggle here. Whatever form that takes, whether it's situations or your own mind or others making things difficult for you, but it is a struggle, and there's a need for peace here. And again, I feel like deja vu, feeling like you're not 100% sure how to get out of that, because you would want to be in this King of Pentacles and King of Wands energy, where you're strong, you're determined, you feel stable, or you're at least working towards a better, whatever it means to you, a better sense of stability. The King of Wands is someone who, I mean, I guess in a lower vibration he would be selfish, but in a high vibration it's just that he's prioritizing himself and his needs. And it's looking like there's a need to shed the old skin if you're over giving elsewhere or giving your attention elsewhere, and being brave and strong enough to sort of give more. Take a step back if you can from whatever else is going on, so that you can give more to yourself. I think that's the gist of it, to be honest. And it's a question of, are you willing to do it, or how do you do it? And the key, I would say, because you've got certain cards of support and things like that, who can you go for? Who can you go to for support? Or where can you go for support? And I think one of the first steps is being willing to share your story and what's going on with you as well. If you've been kind of biting your tongue. Let's get you some oracle cards. I can't really, if I say anything else, I'm just going to be repeating myself. I've pretty much said what needs to be said. So I'm just going to get you some oracle cards to see if that helps. So what else can we, oh, this one's showing up. Surrender low self-esteem. I mean, it says you deserve success, love and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. So for at least one person that could be relevant and why this is all going on. That just stood out to me when I was shuffling the deck, or when I shuffled it and then looked. What do we need to know for Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising? Oh my God, this card has come up. I swear it's come up for, I'm going to say now, probably at least half, if not more than half of the readings. This has got to be connected to Cancer season. Surrender to the beauty of the natural world, because there's a nurturing element here in doing what feels natural to you. Take a relaxing break. I think you probably need a break, and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and ecstasy there. Let's get you a couple more. I think we all need to hug some trees, to be honest. I was saying in which reading, I can't remember which reading it was, that I have done the heat tree hugging thing, and it sounded weird. Like the idea of doing it sounded weird to me at first, but it was fine. I did literally hug a tree. I was self-conscious about hugging a tree, but you don't have to literally. If it's something that you want to try, you don't literally have to hug the tree. You can just put your hand on it, both hands on it, sit under it, whatever, as long as you're making physical contact with it. And there's something very soothing and calming about it. Could just be me, could be a placebo effect, but I tried it and it was yeah, it was an interesting experience. Anything, see what's on the bottom of the deck as well. Surrender the habit of people pleasing. Speak your needs. I feel like that's that Queen of Swords energy. And be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. Let's see what else comes out for you. That was just on the bottom. Try that again. Anything else? Struggling to come out, just like it looks like in this reading. You may be struggling to say what your needs are and what's going on with you. Right, you've got, okay, there's one on the floor and I'll get it in a minute. Let's get one more out first. One more for Gemini. Sun, Moon and Rising. Oh shit, look. Surrender low self-esteem. I don't need to read that again. I'll just put it there and get the other one. Okay. I mean, the other card is similar, can be connected to low self-esteem as well. You've got surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. I don't know why I feel like for at least one person, there may be a feeling of, you know, like if you, I feel like I've said this before in another reading, it might have been yours or someone else's. You know, if you were like a bit of a selfish teenager, like, well, self-absorbed, you're a bit of a self-absorbed teenager. And this is just an example. And then as your parents got older, you felt like you needed to make up for your behavior. Like if you gave them a hard time when you were a teenager, you feel like you need to make up for it. So anything they want, you'll bow down to any whim that they have because of a bit of a sense of guilt and obligation. Like, oh, I made it so tough for you. I need to do everything I can in my power now to look after you. But it's like, even if it's too much, you've gotten to a point now where that feeling of guilt and obligation is so heavy that it's like, oh, I'll do anything, even if it kills me, I'll do anything now. And it's like, no, you've still got to look after yourself as well. You know, you can be supportive and do whatever you have to do, but you still have to take care of yourself as well. You don't have to abandon your whole life to kind of make amends. That's what's come into mind there, that just for possibly one person. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully it resonated. Hopefully there's something helpful here for you. Thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you for supporting the channel and take care. Hi Libra, welcome to your reading for July 2024. These are the books from the Oracle decks I'll use to do the reading today. So we're going to get straight into it. We're still in Cancer season, and by the time you watch this video, we'll have had just had a new moon in Cancer on Friday the 5th of July. We're getting a message for you, first of all, from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. So what does a Libra Sun, Moon or Rising, that was really fast, need to know for July? Oh, you've got the same one as, who was it? This one is one of my favourite cards in the deck. I absolutely love this one. I love wolves. I've said it before. I love wolves, elephants and cats. She-wolf, unleash the wild within. Who else got it? Who else got it? It was... Who was it? Not Scorpio, Pisces. Pisces got it as well. Right, so let's get your tarot cards out. So we've got the Devil, first of all. You have the Hierophant. Who else? You have the Six of Pentacles. And you have the Five of Cups. Right, so let's start to clarify. So first of all, we're going to start with the Devil. See what comes up for that. What do we need to know for the Devil? That double flipped. Try again. Oh wow, you know what, I wasn't going to take it. It kind of fell out, well, not fell out, flipped out so suddenly I wasn't going to take it. But the Devil twice, if it's there twice clarifying itself, it's got to be significant. And that Devil is very, I mean, the Devil can be connected to temptation in general, but that is like the biggest symbol or not energy, well yeah, energy, but image of temptation that there is. I mean, that's one of the meanings I often forget actually, is temptation, until I see this particular card, because it is connected to bondage and restrictions as well, but the temptation thing is standing out there. What else do we need to know for this Devil card? You've got the Sun. You have the High Priestess. Oh, that's a lot. That's like 4 cards. Let me try that again. I just want one more. You've got the Chariot. Okay. What I'm getting from that Devil energy is it's to do with that temptation. And the words or the phrase or saying or whatever it is that came to mind as I continued to get the clarifiers out was, all that glitters is not gold. There's a need here to make sure that you are following your own intuition in things and not being tempted by, I don't know what it is yet. We'll have a look and see more. The Hierophant's been sticking out to me, so it might be that. But yeah, make sure you're following your own intuition, because there's some sort of temptation around that might lead you on a path that is not the best path for you. In fact, it will probably hold you back. With the Chariot being there in reverse, it'll probably hold you back. If not make things confusing, it'll either, there's something where it's like it's kind of going to throw you out of alignment with what you want possibly, or what you've been working towards, or what you had in mind as the best path for you. There's something about a blockage or being thrown off your path. Yeah. Let's look at the Hierophant. What is the Hierophant doing there? I mean, it's not ideal seeing the Devil and the Hierophant, the Devil twice and the Hierophant in the same reading. It's not ideal, but let's see what comes out specifically for that. You've got the Lovers and the Empress. The Ten of Cups kind of wanted to come out, but it was in reverse. I'm not going to take it, but bear in mind that coming out in reverse, it's almost, the Lovers and the Empress are positive cards, but it's with that Ten of Cups there, it's almost making me, and not just the Ten of Cups, but these cards alone are making me feel like a full sense of happiness. It's concerning me, I'll be honest. And I believe the Lovers, it's like attraction. It can be attraction as well. And the Empress can be attraction as well, actually, can't she? But because of the Devil being there, it's kind of feeling more like temptation. So a bit of a dangerous attraction. Let's see what else comes up for the Hierophant, and then I can make a better assessment. Why are they double flipping? You've got the Six of Cups. Let me lay them out. I don't know why I'm doing it now after I've done, what, 9, 10 readings without making it neat, but it is a bit annoying when it's not neat, isn't it? What else do we need to know for that Hierophant? Oh, I think one thought that is coming to mind is being tempted by some sort of old ways or old thing. Something that you would have felt drawn to or attracted to doing in the past. So yeah, for some it could be a person. Say if it was a past relationship and you're tempted to go back into that because it looks very tempting. It looks like it's good, like it's good on paper, like there will be growth. You know, if you were tempted to go back into an old relationship with someone and on the outside it looks like they've changed, so you think to yourself, oh yeah, it looks like there could be growth in this situation now, but maybe there's something in your gut telling you, there's something in your gut, even if you can't see outwardly, saying, yeah, this is probably not the best thing for you. What else is there? Possibly an old habit even. And the one thing that comes to mind, because the Empress is there, is something with that nurturing energy. Oh God, why am I getting so many relationship examples? So like, say if it was in a relationship and the connection with the nurturing energy is, you know, if you've been ever been in a relationship where you ended up, it was like you were the person's mother, or if you're a man, if you were ended up like you're the person's father, as in, you kind of end up babying them a little bit and doing too much for them. Like whether it's you do too many things for them, you give too many gifts, you do too much stuff for them. Like you always end up, I don't know, cooking for them or washing their clothes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's when you become like a servant, you know what I mean? So it's like over nurturing. Or you pity them, you know, like if they have sub stories. And it's not to say some people genuinely have had a rough life, but you know, when they stay in victim mode, so you end up being overly nurturing and caring and supportive. So if it was a relationship, it could be something like that, and that's falling back into an old pattern, but really it's detrimental. It could come in other ways, like say if it was a child, even, because the Six of Cups can be connected to kids, the Empress is a mother. Say if it's a relationship you have with a child where they're an adult child, but they're kind of manipulating you a bit into babying them again. I mean, that's just another example. It could be anything, you know, you apply as it's relevant. I feel like I need to say with the Hierophant, one thing with the Hierophant is learn from what went on in the past, as well as you got instinct. Whatever's being shown on the surface. Bear with me one moment, please. Okay, sorry about that, Libra. Yeah, that was an interesting phone call. I don't know if I've just been tempted into something that might not be beneficial for me. I've just this morning reduced my mobile phone contract to something different, which would have ended up costing me more. And then, you know, the companies want to keep you. So I just got called up with a better offer, a really good offer, and I've taken that. So anyway, right. So where were we? I was speaking on the Hierophant. I wanted to get another card, and I spoke about old habits, potentially being temptation. So let's see what else we need to know here for the Hierophant. Am I going to take them? Yes. Okay. We have the Tower. Take this one next. We've got the Eight of Wands and we have the Page of Cups there. I don't know if I just said it before I got that interruption about the Hierophant potentially being the need to learn from old habits, old mistakes, old temptation. That's one possibility. Let me get one for the Eight of Wands. So we've got the Strength card for that. Okay, I get it. We've got the Strength card, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ten of Swords. So yeah, I think this Hierophant is about learning to resist temptation of things that look good on paper but they're actually not, or repeating patterns. And that's where that she-wolf energy comes in. It's being able to sort of stand your ground and, you know, do what you got to do. There was something that came up in the Pisces reading about bitch slapping, you know. So it was there was a strong energy of in the Pisces reading of kind of shutting things down and bitch slapping people with the truth, so that you don't get into problems. But we've got the Tower there, so again that's the energy of, you know, and you've been led into temptation but it's bullshit, and then it falls apart because it was always bullshit, but it was made to look shiny and glittery, and really it was shit wrapped up in gold. It's that energy. As I say, with this Eight of Wands, it's where, I mean, upright, the Eight of Wands, one of the meanings can be progression, can't it? I know this one doesn't look so much like progression, it looks like chaos, but it can be about, yeah, about progression. So again, it's avoiding things that look like they're going to be progressive, having the strength and the will to resist things that look glittery when they're really not. So that you're sort of learning from mistakes so that you don't get into the same problems. And with the Page of Cups coming up, that's like that sense of naivety where you go into things kind of naively, and obviously there's no shame in that. We all do it at times. Sometimes we repeat the same mistake multiple times through naivety, and it's just a case of learning from that. So I think that's why the Hierophant is there. Let's move these out of the way because they are taking over the whole thing. I don't know, I'm starting to do it neatly now. All the other readings I haven't really done it, but I'd say with the Six of Pentacles, it's about considering the balance of things overall. Are you getting value for money? Okay, I mean, maybe because I just had that phone call about the phone contract and stuff, I'm thinking value for money. It doesn't literally have to be money itself, although this Six of Pentacles is often about money, but are you getting value for whatever it is you're investing in? Is there true value in it? Is it equal? Is there equal give and take? Is it fair? Is it equitable? Six of Pentacles. So we've got the Hanged Man, which it feels kind of like discernment, and again what you've already learned, you know, your inner sense of knowing and assessment on whether something is genuine or it's just temptation that is not going to be good for you in the end. You've got the Knight of Swords there. So for me, next to the Hanged Man is paying attention to your truth and not being afraid to accept, yes, and express that truth as well. So that would be the she-wolf energy as well. You know, like if usually you're quite very diplomatic and you tend to bite your tongue even, if there needs to be a harsh reality or harsh truth that's told, I mean, obviously it's not about being malicious and ripping people's heads off unnecessarily and that kind of thing. But if you need to speak up and do something that is in line with your truth, you know, do what you have to do. Stand up for yourself and who you are, and don't sort of be afraid to do that. It's a fearless energy. So we've got Four of Wands. Ooh, I know it's not a boat, but I'm getting the energy, the feeling of not being afraid to rock the boat is one message from that. Yeah, so one message is don't be afraid to rock the boat if you have to, if you feel like something is bullshit or unfair or whatever. But also considering if there's an opportunity or some sort of temptation, the way to use that discernment is to judge, does it seem solid? Is it a solid offer, or is there a solid foundation with it? Anything else? Yeah, there's the Seven of Wands with that energy. It's standing up for yourself, isn't it? I'm just going to, I mean, I'd say Seven of Swords, the first thing that comes to mind is being honest with yourself. But also another way of standing up for yourself is making, if you have to escape, you have to escape. You know, you don't have to stick with something. You don't have to stick with something, even if you've agreed to it, if it's detrimental to you. Let's just get one for that Seven of Swords. Page of Swords. Yeah, you might gain a new truth and realize that actually this isn't right. This isn't the best thing for me. And yeah, use that information. You might learn some new information that makes you realize this isn't the right thing, and then you have to escape from the situation, or plan your escape from the situation, or even have a realization. It might be the realization that something's a lie. So yeah, you've got the Queen of Wands energy there. She would be probably the closest energy to that she-wolf, that fiery energy, again, of standing up for yourself, making sure you're getting what's best for you. And the Two of Wands is, again, you don't have to stick with something unnecessarily, you know, acknowledge that you have the choice. You have other choices. Right, so let's move those out of the way. Five of Cups. Again, it's about learning what's fair and what's not, so that you don't end up repeatedly disappointed. I mean, we can't avoid disappointment for our entire life, can we? Sometimes it's going to happen, but for the most part, if you learn from past experiences, it will happen less, hopefully. Or you'll at least clock on a lot sooner than you have done in the past. So you've got the Hermit, Three of Wands, Knight of Cups. Again, it's using that wisdom, that inner knowing. And even the Knight of Cups, in a weird way, feels like a bit of a sense, and all of them actually, I'm just going to say all of them, feel like a bit of a sense of inner knowing about what's right for you, what's best for you, and what you actually want as well. You know, like sometimes, for example, say, again, going back to that whole thing of the temptation of going back into a relationship with someone, I'm sure there are people out there, well, yeah, there are people out there where they might go back into an old relationship because they're lonely, to be frank. I mean, even if they don't admit it to themselves, it might be more out of loneliness, and it's like, is this really what you want? It's not. It's just trying to fill a void, but not filling that void with something authentic or a genuine desire, or something that's actually good for you, you know? Try that again. Yep, there we go. I can see it. Right, we've got one on the floor. Oh, I just got a cramp in my leg then, bending down. The world. The world is your oyster. That's what comes to mind. The world is your oyster. You don't have to continue making the same sort of mistakes and choices, or repeating patterns. You've got the Knight of Wands again. It's someone that's fearless. That is she-wolf energy, I guess, in masculine form, of someone who goes for what they want and they're fearless. And the Four of Cups is just, he's turned away from the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is disappointment. It is settling. Knight of Wands is turned away from that. And I guess one word to sum up the she-wolf energy is passion. Being passionate about what you desire, who you are, more importantly, who you are, and what you do. So yeah, we're going to wrap this up. I don't think there's much more I can say because I've just said the same thing. Let's see what the cards from the Power of Surrender deck tell us, and I'll be very surprised if there's a card in here called Surrender to Your Full Power. I'll be surprised if that does not come out. It may not, but it's that's giving me she-wolf energy as well. I mean, I think she's got a lion in the image actually, but it's just that power thing. Surrender to your full power. It's surrendering to the wild side of you. I think as an afterthought as well, what's coming to mind with that she-wolf energy is if you are someone who plays it too safe, you may be at the opposite end of the spectrum. So there's the whole thing about don't be tempted by something that looks glittery and gold and it's really just shit wrapped up in gold. But on the other end of the spectrum is where you have someone who's so fearful that they never take a risk and they always play it safe, or fear of making wrong choices as well. So even if their gut tells them that they want something or something might be good for them, there's a fear of doing that. So that's something to bear in mind as well. It's like it can be a fear of see, this is like the opposite end of the message now. Fear of receiving. I don't know why anybody would be afraid of receiving, but maybe from certain experiences that went wrong in the past. But fear of receiving with that Six of Pentacles, and just being too stuck on following certain rules. Following certain rules with the Hierophant. Okay, that was just a little side message. So let's see what comes out from this deck now. The Power of Surrender. Surrender to low self-esteem. Who got that? Gemini, I think. You deserve success. That's the fear of receiving. You deserve love, success, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. Yeah, why would you fear receiving? Partly because of low self-esteem, possibly. And also we can get led into temptation because of low self-esteem as well. Again, going back to the whole relationship example, you know, if we feel like we can't do any better, or if you're afraid to leave a relationship, it's like you can't do any better. You feel like you can't do any better, so it's like, oh, I'll just stick with this. Anything else? Surrender to complete healing. I would say that's probably partly, at least, surrender to complete healing of low self-esteem for some. Open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. What do we get after I just said one way of wrapping up the she-wolf energy is passion? Surrender to passion. Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. I love that. Love that that came out. Right, so I'm going to leave it there, Libra. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, thank you for watching the video. Take care. Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading for July 2024. These are the books from the Oracle decks I'll use for today's reading. We're going to get straight into it. So we're still in Cancer season, and by the time you watch this video, we will have had a new moon, I nearly said full moon, then a new moon in Cancer. Sorry, there's a weird thing on my screen that's just put me off. New moon in Cancer on Friday the 5th. That is slightly concerning. I don't know what it's doing. It's gone. There, that's better. So we're going to get a message for you first of all from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. So what does Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising need to know for July 2024? That was very fast. You have great teacher, learn from spiritual experiences. So let's just get the screen unblurred first, make sure it's not blurry, and put that there. And we'll get your tarot cards out as well. I just want to check the bottom of the deck. Interesting, you've got at the bottom, Shaman, trust in higher forces. I knew it would make the screen blurry. I don't know why I just did that. Let's get it unblurred again. Okay. So let's see with the tarot what else you need to know for July. Okay, Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. What else do you need to know? Oh, that's a lot. That is a lot. I feel like it's relevant. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've got to take them. I usually prefer not to take more than 2 to start off with, but because of what's come out, yeah, it's relevant. You've got the Hierophant. That's the original spiritual teacher. You've got the Wheel of Fortune, and you have the Page of Wands, which is, it's the student, isn't it? Or it can be perceived as a student going off with the wand on a spiritual journey, spiritual path, as kind of a newbie sort of energy. It's in reverse though, so yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. Let's see what else comes out for you. Ooh, that's an interesting message. You know how usually the saying would be something like the student, is it the student becomes the master or the student becomes the teacher? I almost feel like one message from this is the master or the teacher becomes the student. I mean, obviously we're always learning, we're always on a journey, so that's interesting. Let's see what else comes up. What else do we need to know for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising? Anything at all. There's a bit of a feeling though with the Page of Wands being in reverse. It's like a not quite being ready though. Okay, so I said not being ready, and then there's the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, which I would take as not being ready necessarily or willing to do the work. You've got the Eight of Swords in reverse. That's come out in reverse so many times. I'm sure it wasn't upside down in the deck. It's happened in quite a few readings now. I think it's probably more along, yeah, it's advice. Next to the Chariot, that's advice. The Eight of Swords and the Chariot are kind of advice cards. I mean, it's not. This is not a specific spread. It's kind of a freestyle reading, but it feels like advice here. And this card keeps the times it's come out. This because you're my last reading that I'm recording for July. I keep getting that En Vogue song, "Free Your Mind," and then I heard or thought, "Get out of your head," with the Eight of Swords. So there's a need to get out of your head. All right, let's get some clarifiers on this and see what's going on, because this is an interesting energy. So the two initial ways I would look at this is, number one, again, going back to the master teacher, which could be you, is something's going to switch where you then become the student, but you're not ready yet for whatever reason. On the other end of things, you could be the teacher, the master, and there's something where you're going to be, there's someone that kind of, how would I put it? Maybe someone that needs to learn from you, but they're not ready and they're not willing to do the work. Okay. So Hierophant, Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands. It could always, it could also be that you are a master, you are a teacher, but in order for something to change, there's also something new that you need to learn, like an additional skill or some additional knowledge that you need to learn to progress, I would say. Yeah, to progress or go into a new cycle. But there's something where, I don't know if you're not quite ready or you're not quite aware of it or something. So there's three perspectives there, and I almost feel like I need to write them down, because if I don't write them down, you know what? I think I may try and pause the video and write them down, because I swear I'm going to forget that. That was too much. This screen, it's got a thing that keeps on coming up on it, on the camera, and I can't get it off. Okay, I'll leave it switched on because it's just going to take too long. So teacher to student, student to learn, or teacher to learn. Okay, hopefully that'll make sense to me. I just feel like now the thing's gone off the screen. I've already done it now. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to lose it if I don't write it down. Some things, it's really irritating when that happens, when you do a reading and your thought comes in and then it's like it just flew by like Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's like, what, wait, I didn't even get to fully grasp you or share you. Anyway, Hierophant, Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands. So you might not even be aware, if you are like a master or a teacher or a spiritual teacher, there may be something that you're not aware of that you need to learn or understand or put the work into to to progress in some way, shape or form. You might even have been overthinking it and there's a need to get out of your head somehow. Well, we've got the Ten of Swords. And I'm already thinking of at least 2 to 3 ways that could be relevant here. You have the Ace of Cups, which is at this angle. So, reverse. Yeah, I'm here in reverse, reverse. Okay. Get a couple more. Okay, I get that already. Right, then you've got the Nine of Cups. And you have the Nine of Pentacles. And that Nine of Pentacles, I know this is not the typical meaning of the Nine of Pentacles, but it feels like a learning energy. It almost feels like a bit of a learning energy. Let's go to the Ten of Swords and the Ace of Cups first. That Ace of Cups being in reverse for me is that someone's cup isn't as full as it should be or needs to be, whether you are the student, teacher, whatever. Something more is needed here to fill that cup. It may be, with the Ten of Swords there, what needs to fill the cup may be an understanding of why, how, who, what, where, when something ended. So whether it is the teacher or the student may need to gain an understanding of that. It may be that something has ended and there's well, yeah, something would have ended if you're thinking about and need to understand it, but it may also be just about, it's now about the progression moving on from that cycle as well. Again, if it is something about there being a student who's not willing, like you being a spiritual teacher, and you have a student who's not willing to learn or do the work, it could relate into that, could relate to them experiencing painful endings or something, and they're not willing to sort of address within themselves and work with you in terms of why that happens, or if it's a repeat pattern or something. Okay, what else? Nine of Cups. Yeah, so for me, the Nine of Cups connects to the Ace of Cups, where there's great satisfaction to be gained if an understanding is reached and it's understood what else is needed to fill that cup, or why certain things have ended in a certain way or in certain ways. There's satisfaction to be gained there. Let's focus on the Nine of Pentacles now. It feels like she's learning. I've never gotten that message from a Nine of Pentacles before. Let's bring it closer to me. It feels like she's learning, I swear, but it's like it's at ease and in her own time. You know, like a lot of the learning cards, well, not a lot of the learning cards, but you know, learning, we usually think of going to school, or even spiritually, like I'm thinking of the Temperance card in this deck, which is the Everyday Witch deck, where they're doing meditation and stuff. So they're literally sitting with someone learning. But this is like, it's almost like self-taught or doing the work yourself. Or so again, I mean, as I say, if you consider yourself to be the teacher or whatever, master teacher, spiritual teacher, it's having to learn something yourself, whether you get it from a book. She has got a book, so it probably could be from a book. Doing it in your own time. She's in a relaxed environment. There's something about it being, I want to say something solidifying about it, and I'm not 100% sure what that means. It could be solidifying to your life, your environment, something to that effect, but it really feels like learning, and I've never had that. Again, if it's the student, if this is the focus is that you're the teacher and there's a student that needs to do something, again, this is an indicator that they need to do the work. Like, you can guide them, but they have to do the work for themselves too, in their own time and at their own pace. Okay, interesting. So let's move on to the Eight of Pentacles. Oh, independent learning, Nine of Pentacles, because the Nine of Pentacles, it can reference independence as well. Okay, yeah, so we've got, I don't know if these came out in reverse now, to be honest with you. I'm going to take them upright. I kind of feel like they came out in reverse, but I don't think it matters for the purpose of this reading. I think it'll still give the same kind of meaning. So we've got the Hanged Man, the Three of Swords, the Seven of Cups. Again, it's the need to do the work. That's all I'm getting from it, is a need to do the work. Let me get a couple more for that. And there's the Resistance again, or let's see what else comes out after it. The Devil. Yeah, it's for me that in reverse is a need to let go of resistance. So the Hanged Man, I guess there is a need to surrender here, in some way, shape or form. If there's some work you need to do or something you need to know, sort of surrender to that and accept that. The Hanged Man can also be about spiritual development, and then you've got spiritual teacher all over the place, so that's relevant. You've got the Three of Swords, again referencing back to that Ten of Swords, possibly to do with painful situations or a painful situation. There's something to be learned from that or understood from that, or even just understanding something about pain itself. Not sure exactly what that means, but that's there. The Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups, that's a funny one. It can be about dreams and deciding what dream you want to choose, and that can be relevant here as well. But again, it's the perspectives, especially with that Hanged Man there, and talking about something needs to be understood. I'd say this is more, and this particular Seven of Cups in this deck, it feels more like to do with dreams, desires and stuff, more than any other in any other deck. But here in this reading, it feels more like looking at the different perspectives of something. I mean, hopefully you'll understand what that means if it's relevant to you. We've got the Four of Pentacles again. That's that resistance, and the feeling I'm getting is, especially with it being next to the Seven of Cups, is something related to emotions. Where, and I know the Four of Pentacles is Pentacles, which is physical, but it's almost like what's in that box is the cups, the emotions. It feels like there's something, for one person at least, that something's been locked away emotionally. So it could be that the student, if there's a student that you're working with, that they're locking something away, and there may even be what word do I want to use, masking it or something, or I can't think of another word, masking it or something, or hiding it with physical things. So how would I say that? So like, let's say the workaholic example. Like if you're trying to push down emotions by being a workaholic, like you're trying to ignore your emotions and shut them down by being a workaholic instead. That's just one example. Or it could be that someone needs to learn something and they're focusing primarily on the physical and feeling restricted physically, but really the heart of it is to do with emotions. That's something that comes to mind as well. But overall, it's a need here to do the work, to put the work in and surrender to the information, to emotions, to doing the work. Again, take it as you will, take it as it's relevant. It's still like I can't even say dual message at this point, the triple message of either the teacher needs to become the student, the teacher's working with a student that needs to learn and is not really putting in the effort. Yeah. What else can I say? Yeah. Okay, we'll leave that. Let's look at the Eight of Swords, that free your mind, get out of your head type energy. You've got the Ace of Wands, the Hermit, the Four of Pentacles. I'm using the wrong deck, that's why. Okay, do I want to take these back up? No, I'm going to keep them. This is the wrong deck. I was meant to use the other deck, but it's fine. Because I'm still seeing resistance energy here. I'm getting the energy. The energy's right, so I am going to take them even though I've used the wrong deck. One more. Yeah. There's resistance. Who else got so much resistance in their reading? Who was it? I can't remember who it was, but there was another reading I did. It might have been Virgo. Virgo's reading is very similar to yours. So if you've got significant Virgo placements, this might be the same. It feels very similar down to even either you're needing to learn something or another person's needing to or understand something, and there's resistance. So yeah, your Virgo thing might be, yeah, you might want to check that too. Yeah, resistance. That feels like spiritual awareness. The Ace of Wands there. I know it's usually about new chapters and passion, etc., but it feels like spirit, because one's a spiritual awareness, and it's a spirit. It's almost like a spiritual offering. Okay, interesting. You've got the Hermit again. Is someone that's introspective. They're on their own path. They're on a path of learning, aren't they, and discovery. But there's the resistance with the Four of Pentacles. It's like holding on to what you already know, or someone holding their cards close to the chest. So again, if you're working with someone, trying to help them develop in some sort of way or guide them, it's almost like, say if you were doing a counseling session with them and they refuse to actually be forthcoming about stuff with you, and you can feel it energetically. As a spiritual teacher, you can feel that they're holding something back. You might even feel what they are holding back, but obviously you can't verify it until they tell you. But it's like they're holding their cards close to their chest and holding on towards to what they already know, and resistant. And again, if you're the teacher, master, and there's something you need to understand or learn, you could be in this energy too, where, just because someone's a teacher or a master, it doesn't mean that they're done. There's still more for them to learn, and a master, a teacher, we're still human. We're still capable of being stubborn, of being resistant, of not understanding things, of still needing to learn. We're still on a journey of growth. We're not superhuman. We don't know everything. We're not know-it-alls. We still have human flaws. The flaws are what makes us human. Whatever the resistance here and everything, it is that there's some sort of emotional fulfillment at the end of this, and I don't necessarily mean that in terms of happily ever after, but there is some emotional fulfillment that can be gained in some way, shape, or form. But there needs to the resistance has to go. That has to go. So let's use the correct deck now. Move these out of the way and use the correct deck. So yeah, again, that free your mind energy, stop resisting. The Chariot is the progression, forward, and it's the alignment of the heart. Is it heart and mind and soul, that sort of thing. That's one of the meanings that you can take from the Chariot. And it's discipline. There's discipline with that Chariot energy as well. So having the discipline to listen to your heart and your mind and move forward with it. Anything else that we can learn about that Chariot, please? So we've got the King of Pentacles. Ooh, that was a weird one. When that King of Pentacles came up, the question that came to mind was, what makes you who you are? Okay. Again, that's not something that's ever, I don't believe that's ever come up for me with a King of Pentacles before, but that's what's come up. What makes you who you are? Again, maybe someone is very focused on the physical, or it's taken into consideration someone's achievements. I don't know. Take that how you will and how it's relevant for you. But yeah, something about what makes you who you are, even though that's not exactly what the King of Pentacles is about. But yeah. You've got the Judgment card, which has come up, and as I've said many times, this Judgment card in particular makes me think of somebody going off on their path, on their own individual path and journey, and sort of, I kind of want to say going with the flow, to be honest, the flow of whatever their path is. Let's see what else comes up. Try that again. I've just realised how late it is. I've got to go and do the school run in a minute. I think it's because I had that phone call. It took about 10 minutes out of my time, so I didn't realise how much time was passing. Right, anyway. Right, we've got the Death card next to Judgment. That's interesting. We've got the Five of Pentacles. I will ask, with the Five of Pentacles coming up, the thought of what is lacking. Is anything lacking, and that's what needs to be understood, or part of what needs to be understood? With the Judgment card, And the death card here, part of the resistance for someone would be resistance to transformation, because judgment for me can feel like spirit. I mean, it depends on what it's with, to be honest, but it can feel like spiritual awakening sometimes. And obviously, I've said quite a few times now, I think I've come to the conclusion that there's just so much to awakening. It's never going to be just you have one awakening and that's it, you're done. It's either going to be one long awakening that lasts your life, your whole lifetime, or mini awakenings or multiple awakenings, however you want to put it. But there's a bit of, as I say, there may be resistance to awakening to something here. There may be a need for someone as well. I said what's lacking, but there may also be a need for someone to cut ties with a feeling of lacking something. And I can't put my finger on what that is. I can't specify. You will know if that makes sense to you. I can't even think of an example at this point in time. Well, actually, I can. One example would be, say if your whole life is based around, you feel that success and achievement is based on what you have to show for it practically. It may be, you may be encouraged to cut ties with that concept. Not saying that it is an achievement to achieve things physically and practically, but there's more to life than that. There are other parts to your life other than what you have to physically show as your achievements, like whether it be houses, cars, degrees, job titles, salary, whatever, kids even, because some people in certain cultures, the greatest achievement is having kids and a family, and some people don't want that. Some people don't want children. Some people don't want to get married, and there might be a great uncle or aunt or fantastic in their community and with family members, but they just don't want their own family unit, you know, their own kids and partner or whatever. There's like there's other their life has another mission, you know, if that makes sense. Let's get one more for that and then we'll wrap it up. I hope this is making sense. I know it's kind of vague in terms of what the exact thing is that needs to be learned or understood. I mean, I've given some examples, but as I say, you need to apply it as it's relevant if the reading resonates. It's kind of, I feel like the reading is kind of just bringing awareness, or it's maybe confirmation for someone. Oh my God, and I talked about success, didn't I? Six of Wands, yeah. The need to cut ties with what potentially feels like success or achievement to someone. Okay. And the King of Pentacles would be seen as a very successful person as well. And I think the question, when I said the King of Pentacles, I said something about what makes you who you are. What else can I take from that? I don't think there's anything else I can say that's not going to confuse it now, because I've said so much, even I can't remember every single thing I've said about it. So if you feel the need to rewind to make sense of it, then go for it. I hope it makes enough sense that it's just not like a big bloody, like I was talking in code, some sort of code. Overall, as I said, with that Chariot, there's a need to, there's a need to surrender to at least the fact that something needs to be understood, and to sort of put the pieces together in order to progress, because there's something that needs to, there's a progression that's kind of, or a new cycle that's comes into play here. And that happens when something is understood, or the beginning the process of learning or understanding something. Okay. Yeah, I don't, as I say, I don't think there's anything else I can say that won't confuse the whole thing. So I'm going to get some guidance or advice, or see if there's any other message from the Power of Surrender cards. So again, remember, we had, just a reminder, we had the example that it could be that you're the teacher and you're going to now become the student, or there's someone that you may be working with and they need to learn something from you. Okay, yeah, I'll just leave it at the two, because the teacher needing to learn is the same as the teacher becoming the student, isn't it, really? That was quite dramatic. Am I going to try that again? Yeah. That didn't feel right. Let's try it again. Try that again. Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. What else do you need to know? What are your final messages, guidance, advice, anything? You've got, somebody else got this. Surrender your addictions, whether you're addicted to substances, food. Oh God, this came up in the Virgo reading. You really may need to read that, watch that Virgo reading, because this came out then. I believe you, whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. So one of the potential addictions, apart from what's on here, if that's relevant, that came up in the Virgo reading was control, the need to be in control, and that's where the resistance came from. Addictions can be anything, can't it? It can be stubborn. If stubbornness comes up, I'll be shocked. It can be stubbornness. Can people be addicted to stubbornness? Probably, because that, okay, so stubbornness would be where, probably like where you want to be right all the time. So that can be an addiction, kind of. You can be addicted to being a know-it-all, to being right all the time. As I say, you can be addicted to being in control. But there's a bunch of other things. I can't think of everything off the top of my head now. You could be addicted to a certain path that you're already on and feel like, I don't want to deviate from this. I just want to stick with this one thing and not be open to anything else. Okay, I'll see what else comes out. Anything else? That's my alarm reminding me that I've got to go and do the school run. Surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. I swear, I feel like that came up in, I could be wrong, but I kind of feel like that came up in the Virgo reading. I might be wrong about that. For me, this one is kind of the acceptance. Accepting whether you are the student or the teacher, that something needs to be understood and that something is meant, I felt like saying destined then, destined or meant to change, and accepting that there's work that needs to be done to move towards that. Then you have, okay, I get where this comes in. Surrender comparisons with other people. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness and power. So remember where I said the King of Pentacles felt like what makes you who you are? Yeah, that's that. If what you've based, what makes yourself who you are, is based on comparisons with other people or what society deems as success or achievement, then that does come into play there, to be honest. And again, either you're learning this, you may be the student that's learning this, you may already be a teacher and there's another level of it that you need to learn, or you're teaching this to someone else in some way, shape or form. I'm going to leave the reading there. Hopefully it did make sense. Yeah, hopefully it made sense. Thank you for supporting the channel as always. Thank you for watching. Take care.